Hi, it's Jonathan Quail again, your Letting Go coach and the creator of the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack. Thought I'd record another video to tell you a little bit more about the Meditation Power Pack that you can order from this page, just in case you're not sure yet whether it's something that will work for you. So in this video, I'm going to tell you a bit more about how and why the meditation works. I think the best way to do that is to tell you a story of how I developed it. Back in 1998, I was a young professional squash player. In my early 20s, I left South Africa to train and play in the UK, and I was also working part-time for a financial software company to earn some extra money because professional squash isn't exactly a lucrative sport. So one day I had to get up at 4 a.m. to drive from Hertfordshire, where I was living at the time, up to Yorkshire for a day's training with the company. It was a 4-hour drive, and then I had to do a full day's training, which was quite intensive and mentally tiring because I was learning new stuff all day. And then I had to drive back home that same night. So I set off at about 7 in the evening, and an hour into the drive I was really struggling to stay awake. I was absolutely knackered. I was starting to have those little micro naps at the wheel, you know, the ones where you close your eyes and then come awake, and it's quite shocking and dangerous. So I decided to pull into one of the service stations on the motorway to see if I could get some sleep. But it didn't work. I was overtired and too wired to sleep. So after 20 minutes or so of unsuccessfully trying to have a nap in the back seat of my car, I had to resort to buying some caffeine pills and taking a couple so I could stay awake and get home safely, which I really didn't like having to do, as I don't like taking pills. And I remember thinking to myself at the time, there must be a better way than this. And I also remembered while I was driving back that my sister had done a transcendental meditation, or TM course, in South Africa that helped her to relax and de-stress and also improve her health, because she had some challenges with her health at the time. And so I decided to check it out, and I found a TM centre in London, and I decided to do the course, although it was over £400 if I remember right, which was quite an expense for me at the time. But I made the investment of money and time. I also had to travel into London from Hertfordshire 4 times over the course of a month to do the course. Something in me said that I really needed to learn this, and consciously I thought that meditating regularly would help me to relax, to recover from my training more quickly, and improve my concentration while playing squash. So it would improve my game, which it did do, but it did so much more for me than that. It started opening my eyes to an inner world that I didn't really know existed before then. So I really enjoyed my meditations. I'd do 20 minutes in the morning, 20 minutes in the late afternoon or evening. For years I kept this up, and I found that doing it helped me to just relax, re-energize, and be a lot calmer and more in flow with life. When I missed sessions for whatever reason, I did feel the difference in the quality of my experience of life. So it became obvious to me that if I meditated, it was really in my own best interests. And I found that meditation also worked hand in hand with what I was learning from books like The Power of Now, Conversations with God, and The Life and Teachings of the Masters of the Far East, to name just a few of the many so-called spiritual books that I read during this part of my life. In fact, I'd say that regular meditation opened my mind to start searching for the truth, and also helped me to accept the truth that I did find in these teachings in a way that just wouldn't have happened if I hadn't been meditating regularly. About 7 years after I learned TM, I got the meditation version of the 7-year itch, and I started wondering what other forms of meditation were out there. So I started experimenting with different kinds of meditation and different modalities that helped me to go deeper into meditation. I tried various guided meditations. I learned about using sound and your own voice for healing from a South African sound healer who specialized in that. And I started incorporating what I was learning into my meditations. So specific vocal tones for different chakra points or energy centers in the body, while I was touching these chakra points, visualizing different colors associated with each chakra, binaural beats, and breathing techniques. And I found that all these different modalities, which work through my auditory, So hearing, my visual and my kinesthetic senses, my sense of touch, all serve the same purpose as the mantra I used in TM. They help me to quiet my mind and go more deeply into meditation. That's what a mantra does. And when they were combined, they took my meditations to a whole new level and gave me a deeper, richer and more rewarding experience than TM ever did. And about the same time I started reading a book called A Course in Miracles, which I found answered all the questions that I still had, which the other books I'd read weren't really answering. I'll go into more detail about what I've learned from the course during the webinar, but essentially it teaches that forgiveness, or letting go, as I prefer to call it, is the key to happiness and ultimately enlightenment. So after a few years of studying and teaching the course, I developed the 10-step forgiveness process. It synthesizes the course's seemingly complex teachings and philosophy into a simple 10-step forgiveness process or formula that you can apply to any situation, event or person that seems to be causing you any kind of pain or aggravation or suffering, to help you to let it go. I now call it the 10-step letting go process because I think it's easier for most people to understand and follow the simple instruction to let it go than it is for them to try and forgive something away. Because there's a lot of misunderstanding about what forgiveness really means. In the end though, it doesn't really matter what you call it. As long as you do all the steps in the process, it will help you to free your mind from any negativity and also help to heal your body, which is really just a projection of the mind. I'll talk more about this idea during the webinar. Then in 2009, I met an eccentric old guy by chance. There isn't really such a thing, so it was synchronicity, in a print shop just around the corner from my yoga studio in Johannesburg. We got chatting and he said that he learned some amazing power breathing techniques while training with the Monaco Olympic team 20 years earlier, and I told him that I used to be a professional squash player and I still played competitive squash. And he'd offered to teach me everything he knew about breathwork at no charge. Well, that was an offer I couldn't refuse, so I went to his house that Saturday morning. I remember feeling really excited about it in the few days leading up to that Saturday, because I think intuitively I knew that I was going to learn something amazing. This would open up a whole area for me that I didn't really know about. And I wasn't disappointed. I learned the power breathing technique as well as a few other techniques, including a more advanced and very ancient breathing technique called Kriya Yoga, which I'll talk about in more detail during the Art of Letting Go webinar. And we started doing breathing sessions once a week, which lasted for several years, and prompted me to start exploring breathwork as another transformational modality, different from, although very connected to, meditation. And so through immersing myself in all these transformational techniques and learning through experience, it became clear to me that what I call multidimensional meditation, breathwork and forgiveness or letting go are the three most powerful mind transforming modalities in the world. So I thought I'd combine them all to create one super powerful meditation. And to make it even more powerful, a friend of mine who's an expert in sound and frequencies added sounds of running water and binaural beats designed to take people into a theta state as backing tracks to my voice. So what exactly are binaural beats, you're probably asking yourself. Well, I think now is as good a time as any to tell you a bit more about how and why binaural beats work. First, I'll give you the scientific explanation. Binaural beats are auditory brainstem responses that originate in the superior olivary nucleus of the brain as a result of different frequency auditory stimuli provided to each ear. So listeners to binaural beats seem to hear a beat at a frequency equal to the difference between the frequencies of the tones provided to each ear, typically by stereo headphones. Okay, so in non-tech speak, this means that the technology tricks your brain into hearing a certain frequency that corresponds with a slower brainwave pattern. And this sets up an entrainment effect in the brain, so your brainwaves start matching the frequency of the binaural beats, in the same way as one tuning fork sets another one going at the same frequency when you hold them close together. Maybe you've done that experiment. And that's all that entrainment means. One thing entraining another into the same frequency. And that's what happens with your brainwaves and binaural beats. So fewer brainwaves per second means you're thinking less and you're experiencing more peace of mind, because your brainwaves are correlated to your thinking. So the more thinking, the more brainwaves, and the less you think, the less brainwaves. So by changing your brainwave pattern and slowing it down, you're helping your mind to go into a state of more calm and think less, which is extremely powerful. And EEG tests of people's brains when they're in meditation show that they have a slower brainwave pattern than they normally would. And EEGs of the brains of advanced meditators and yogis who've been meditating most of their lives, when they're not in meditation, show that they have similar brainwave patterns to normal people when they're in deep meditation. So there's good scientific evidence to show that listening to binaural beats will slow your brainwaves down and help you go deeper in your meditations. If you listen to binaural beats and meditate regularly, you can also expect to slow your brainwave patterns down when you're not in meditation, which means you're thinking less distracting thoughts and finding more happiness and flow in your life, which is all good. So the guided letting go Theta meditation has a binaural beat frequency of 6 Hz as a backing track, which puts it in the Theta frequency range, hence the title Theta. The Theta frequency is between 4 and 8 Hz, or cycles per second. So you're in a Theta state when you're asleep and dreaming, but you can also be in Theta and be half awake. Half waking Theta is a state in which people experience daydreams, visions, and often creative inspiration and innovative solutions to problems. Being in a Theta state allows us to access the right side of our brains, which is the side that is more creative, intuitive, and holistic in its thinking. And as so many of us overuse our left brains, the analytical, rational side, it helps us to become more whole-brained and use our full brain capacity and function. So Theta really is the frequency of genius. Many scientists and inventors, artists and poets and other creative geniuses throughout history, people like Aristotle, Salvador Dali, Thomas Edison, Ludwig van Beethoven, poet Samuel Taylor Coleridge, and Albert Einstein, have had their best ideas during what they call power naps. And they briefly entered a Theta state and then came back to their work with renewed inspiration and energy. Apparently Einstein used to hold a penny in his hand when he was in deep thought trying to solve the mysteries of the universe. So he put the penny in the palm of his hand and he'd kind of go into this meditative state, and when he dropped into Theta, his hand would drop, the penny would drop out, the sound of the penny on the floor would wake him up, and he'd often have some fresh insight into the problem he was trying to solve. So the penny had literally and figuratively dropped for him. The bonus power sleep track also uses binaural beats in the alpha range, which is 8 to 13 Hz. So it'll help you go into an alpha state, which is when you start feeling sleepy, and will drop off to sleep a lot more easily. I listen to it before I go to bed every night, especially when I'm working late, as it helps me to quiet my mind and go to sleep a lot more quickly and easily and sleep better. If you have any kind of insomnia, listening to this track before you go to bed will really help you to go to sleep and sleep more deeply. And if you've ever had insomnia, you'll know how precious deep sleep is and how awful you can feel the next day if you don't get enough of it. I also listen to my own guided letting go Theta meditation most mornings after I wake up, because I find it helps me to have a happier, more productive and more flowing day than if I don't do it. It's as simple as that. If you do it, you get the benefit. If you don't, you don't benefit. And the benefit you feel is immediate. Meditating using the guiding letting go Theta meditation early in the day, I find first thing in the morning after waking up the best time to do it. Starts to subtly change your brainwave patterns over time, so your brain's in an alpha state a lot more often during the day. And alpha is the frequency of happiness and flow. It's when we feel kind of okay about life, there's not too much thought going on, we're not stressed, and we can just sort of flow with whatever it is that we're doing. Being an alpha also makes it easier for you to fall asleep and sleep well. So it works hand in glove with the power sleep meditation. Another benefit of meditating regularly is it makes you look and feel younger in a way that no pill or beauty treatment can, because it works from the inside out rather than the outside in. I'm 46 at the time of recording this video, and most people think I look like I'm in my mid-30s. Biologically, I think that is probably about my body's age, but mentally and emotionally, I have the benefit of another decade of life experience. This is what meditating regularly will do for you. Start to be able to transcend the illusion of time, and extraordinary things, miracles if you like to call them that, become not just occasionally possible, but you come to expect them as normal. So where was I? To wrap up the story of how I developed the guided Letting Go Theta meditation and the Letting Go meditation power pack. It's the end result of over 10 years of my spiritual journey and thousands of hours spent experimenting with binaural beats and different meditation and breathing techniques, and then combining the best of these with the essence of what I think is the most profound spiritual teaching on the planet in the form of the 10-step letting go process. It really is powerful stuff. It can help you to let go of any negative thought or emotion, no matter how dark or long-standing or deep-seated it may seem to be. And I'm not just talking about minor grievances you hold towards your neighbor or your mother-in-law, although it will work for those too. You can use this to let go of grief at the death of someone close, deep-seated resentment, serious depression and chronic anxiety over a dread disease, financial worries, losing your job or your business or your partner or your child or anything that you value in this world. There's nothing this meditation can't help you to let go of, because ultimately it's not the situation that you're letting go of, it's the negative thoughts or feelings you're having about situations and people that are the problem. And these really all have the same cause, irrespective of what seems to be causing them. I'll talk more about this idea during the webinar. But don't just believe me about how effective this meditation power pack is. Check out the testimonials from people who've used these meditations further down the page if you scroll down. Read the FAQs, they're also down there if you want to know more about the meditations, and make a decision in the next 15 minutes or so. As you can see, the clock is ticking and you won't get the meditation power pack at the same price again. It's worth £20, but I'm giving it to you today for only £9.70, which is more than 50% off. To thank you for booking for the webinar, because I'd really like you to start this letting go process before the webinar. So what I say to you during the webinar means a lot more to you, because you'll have started to experience more happiness, peace and flow for yourself. And ultimately it's our own experience that's meaningful, not just information. I hope you've learned some useful information about meditation and the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack in particular by watching this video. But remember, there are no prizes in life for learning new information. Prizes and rewards in life go to those who are prepared to take action based on what they've learned. This is what Ralph Waldo Emerson meant when he wrote the following, which is one of my favorite quotes of all time. Be not the slave of your own past. Plunge into the sublime seas, dive deep, and swim far. So you shall come back with new self-respect, with new power, and with an advanced experience that shall explain and overlook the old. So my advice to you is not to overthink this. Get the meditation power pack, dive into these meditations over the next few days, and give yourself the gift of an advanced experience that helps you transcend your old experience of life and any other meditation practice you've done. This is what transformation is all about, your own transformed experience. No one else can experience it for you, no one else can do what's necessary to create that transformational experience for you. But I can give you the tools that will give you that experience consistently if you use them. So you can order the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack containing both the Guided Letting Go Theta meditation and the Power Sleep Track by completing and submitting the order form on this page. The easiest way to get there is just to click or tap the click here to get the Meditation Power Pack button, which is just below this video, and then you'll be taken to a thank you page where you can listen to and download them straight away, and you'll be able to start using them immediately to help you to let go of any negative thought or emotion troubling you, to sleep a lot better, and find more happiness, peace and flow in your life. So you might be thinking to yourself, whoa there, but what if these don't work for me? Maybe you've never tried meditation and you really don't know if it's going to work for you at all. Or maybe you've already got an established meditation practice you're reluctant to change. Firstly, I talk you through every step of the guided letting go Theta meditation, which makes it really easy to do, even if you're a newbie to meditation. Secondly, if you're worried that the meditation is too long for you, it does last an hour. Most people who do it think that it's only lasted 20 minutes or half an hour, because your perception of time changes when you're doing it. And it's a proven fact that deep meditation is a substitute for sleep. So if you wake up an hour earlier than you normally do, so you can do the meditation, you shouldn't feel any more tired than you normally do. In fact, you're likely to feel more energized and more alert than you would have if you slept for the extra hour rather than meditated. Because remember, meditation changes your brainwave patterns, so it fundamentally alters your state of mind, your perception of everything, and your quality of life. And you may just find that you decide to watch less TV at night and go to bed an hour earlier, which is a very good thing, because TV tells you what your vision should be. It's not called tell-a-vision for nothing. And it stops you from developing your true inner vision, which is what we're trying to develop through meditation. But let's say that for some reason, unique to you and your life situation, neither of the meditations and the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack works for you. Here's what I'll do for you. If you've honestly listened to the whole guided Letting Go Theta meditation and the full Power Sleep track at least twice, and they just don't do anything for you, all you have to do is drop me an email in the next 30 days to explain why you want your money back, and I'll give you a full refund. Yes, if you did this, you'd still have the tracks on your computer or device, and so you could use this money back guarantee to get the meditation pack for free. But I firmly believe that it's only as we give that we receive. I'm asking you to trust in me, and so I'm going to trust that if you get the value out of the meditations, you'll be happy to pay for them. Sound fair enough? And if you do decide to do the Art of Letting Go course after you've attended the webinar, your payment for the meditation will count as a 10% deposit towards the course fee, which actually comes to more than the cost of the meditation. I know, it sounds like I'm crazy, but I'm not. Because it's not really about the money for me. It's about helping people like you to find more happiness and flow in their lives. What else is life really for? You need to pay for these meditations because research shows, and my experience confirms, that if you don't pay for something, you simply won't value it, and you won't pay attention to it, which means you won't listen to the meditations, and they can't help you to shift your consciousness one iota or make you any happier, which kind of defeats the point. See, meditation is kind of like learning to ride a bike. You can talk about it and say you're going to do it all you like, and maybe you've done that with meditation. But you'll only experience the joy, the peace, the inner freedom and the flow that meditation offers when you actually do it. This may seem to be completely obvious, but often we overcomplicate our lives so much that the obvious becomes obscured. Meditation is a way to rediscover simplicity, simple truth beyond the complexity of this world that we've created to obscure it, to find the happiness and flow that this will inevitably bring you. Okay, so to wrap up this video quickly, if you've registered for the webinar, I'll be emailing you tomorrow with another video about the first secret that I'll be sharing during the webinar, which is the key to happiness. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, but would like to learn how to let go and find more happiness and flow in your life, and who wouldn't, go to theaolg.com. That's theaolg.com and register for the next free webinar. You should see the web address on the screen now. Thanks for watching this video to the end. I hope you learned a bit more about meditation and the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack from watching it, and that you'll act on what you've learned to get the Letting Go Meditation Power Pack. Download it today and start using it to be happier and more in flow with life immediately. Don't overanalyze or overcomplicate this and succumb to the dreadful condition of the overly cautious souls of this world, which is paralysis by analysis, in case you're wondering. To use the famous Nike slogan, just do it. You've got nothing to lose, accept some of your negativity. I'll catch you on the other side.